All right, so let's go back to Georgia then. So you guys are over there. What are some of the first big challenges you have of moving up here?
So the biggest challenge was physically getting from Georgia to Alaska. So I didn't realize what the route or what the process was of physically arriving in Alaska until we actually started planning the trip. And then, of course, we had to move during COVID. So we had to add an extra leg to our route and get a COVID test before we reached the Canadian border. So that definitely threw a wrench into our plans by like adding a couple of days of travel just to schedule that and then to wait for the results and then cross over to the border.
Oh, did you guys not find out till you got to the border that you had to have the tests?
No, we knew beforehand, but just with the way our travel time had to be, we were kind of restricted, so we had to plan it. So it was pretty tight. We had to we were waiting maybe 30 minutes at the border for our test results, so they wouldn't let us in until we had those. So luckily, like it all kind of went down to the minute. Like they were shutting down the border, letting people through within a couple hours. So like, yeah, we were pretty close.
Oof.
I think it's just because we were going over a weekend. So the COVID testing sites that we needed for not the rapid test, the other one, they weren't open on the weekends. So we had to do it Monday morning, but they were going to be there by Tuesday morning. So we just kind of took the second day a little bit more slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, it sounds like it worked out, but that's still doesn't alleviate some of the stress, I imagine, as you're there.
So we were, along with the COVID stuff, we were packed pretty full in the car because, we were not experienced driving the Alcan or through that part of the world. So, we followed a lot of advice. So I had like 10 gallons of gas strapped to the back of my car. I had a full size spare tire. We just didn't know what to expect. So we had winter sleeping bags just in case we got stranded. There was a lot of things that we brought to prepare, which, weighed down the car and made it a little, it didn't feel like unsafe, but we were definitely overloaded just to feel prepared for the trip.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to say that's you really can't underemphasize just how important it is to kind of have some of that stuff and to be ready just in case stuff happens. Because I mean, I'm sure you guys experienced it when you're out there where there really is a sense if something happens, you're kind of just high and dry. There's really not much out there.
Right. And, part of the moving process, I did a lot of maintenance on the car, a lot of things that were coming due for maintenance. Winter tires were necessity because we drove through in February, so in wintertime. So a lot of these little things I started planning probably 5 or 6 months before we actually left. So I didn't wait until the last minute. I don't think we could have done it if I waited until January or February to begin planning the process of preparation and stuff.
That's a really good point. And also just having some flexibility in that plan too, just because, I mean, best laid plans, great till the first shot's fired. And obviously it's COVID, right. So lots of shots fired lately.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I guess everything was great until we got to the border, and then we had to kind of like really, that was the point where I was a little worried because we didn't really know what to expect. But we were given 5 days, and this was just in COVID, during COVID, all the restrictions. We were given 5 days to cross through Canada, and I figured that was enough, but I didn't know for sure, And we were also worried that what if we break down? What if we get stuck somewhere? What if, a big winter storm comes through and we get, snowed in for a day or two? So, yeah, we were very lucky. We didn't have any issues and we just trucked on through, and it took 5 days, and we crossed into Alaska, and we were pretty relieved at that point.
Yeah.